Hello there, and welcome to the first serious devlog of my final year project. We're on about week 4, week 5 now when it comes to development, and a lot of that time has been an iterative process of going through method after method after method to see which is going to be the best for integrating heart rate into the game engine. And I will be going through that in a separate video, that whole journey, which will also be explored in my midpoint review. But right now, it's just talk about what has actually been done and the methodology I did choose, and that is Pulsoid. Pulsoid is a company which, if we actually zoom in on, you know what, we'll just go to Twitch. We'll
Good. At the lobby when you die? Oh.
turn him down. You can see on the bottom left corner it has his heart rate. Now, Pulsoid is a company that allows streamers to place widgets on their live streams or on their YouTube videos to show their heart rate while they play games. It's used a lot for horror games to show, "Ooh, look, I'm scared." And so, that the way that works is through the heart rate monitor, which is on my arm here. That is collects the data with their app and sends it to a secure online server. And then that information is then sent back to the computer, usually through their widgets, which have the functionality all included. However, I don't need to use a widget, I need to actually make use of that functionality myself and grab that information myself for a different purpose, which is where that API comes in. Now, the API, an API is simply, or at least in the way I understand it, is simply a way for to connect to a server or connect to a HTTP address and collect some type of information from a system. So if you were to go to the random cat facts API, you would just generate a random cat fact. But this API, what it does is allows us to read the latest heart rate on the heart rate monitor. And the way it does this, the way the APIs work, is that for this API first, we have to validate the token, meaning we have to send a request in saying, hey, I am a trusted user. Here is the token for my device. Let me have access to it. And this ensures that nobody else can read the heart rate data, only I can, because I'm the only one who has that specific token. It's a very secure system. And after I send that, I get the information back saying, hey, here's your client ID, here's where it expires, you are in. You've hacked into the matrix, which allows us to then send another request to, dev.pulsoid.net, being like, hey, can I have the heart rate? And now send it back. So this is all fine and dandy, just talking about it. Yep, I am online. Just had to check. But yes, so this is the actual, Pulsoid. What's this called? Dashboard, that's it. Where you can see what the heart rate is. I mainly use this for debug to make sure that the engine is reading and staying up to date with the current heart rate reading. But yeah, like I said, it's all fun and dandy to talk about it, but let's see what it actually looks like. This is a C++ script that I whipped up. Admittedly, this is not all my code. Some of this I did take from other users on Stack Overflow, mainly because this is not what I'm actually going to use in the project. This is just me getting an understanding of how curl, the system which allows us to use HTTP requests with C++, how curl works and how to actually interact with the system. So you can see here I create an std string. So pretty much I set the token, I set the value for that, and I set a headers value, which is a struct. And so I can just keep appending to the struct. So I add the headers, I add the token header, which is there, two headers, which is, so that's me adding the token for that's me adding the token for the specific device which I need to send. And then I also add the validate URL and the heart rate reading URL. And those are going to be executed in order. So let's actually check it out. Let's get this running. Oh, it spawned over here, so let's bring this back. So, there we go. You can see all that. So first, it does the authorization. It adds that. It adds it sets that header as a HTTP header, and then it adds the URLs. So it validates and then gives us the heart rate, which at this time is 92. That is amazing. But that is only in C++. I need to bring that into Unreal, which if I bring this over, I have. Now the way I've done it is through the use of a HTTP plugin. I would like to make my own functionality if possible, because I believe there's a good, I believe it's interesting. I want to work in C++ a little more, so it's definitely a stretch goal for me to get down in the muck and see if I can create this functionality hard coded into the project. But right now, it was only £5, so I was very happy to spend a little bit of money and get a very easy method, because it does exactly what I was doing before. It sets the authorization header with all the values and makes a HTTP request. So it sends to the URL stated there. It says, hey, authorize it, here's my token. Once that's done, then it sets a timer every 0.1 seconds, and it just sends the HTTP request for the heart rate. And I've also got the authorization there again, just in case the first one, I don't know, just in case there's an error. Afterwards, we can take the JSON, take the string and set it to a JSON, which JSON pretty much, I'm not entirely sure, to be fair, but I'm pretty sure it is an object which can have multiple values in. So I can ask for, it's saying the data object, this data object in the JSON could have the number heart rate, but it could also have measured at, which would be, that'd be another number, but it's multiple values in one object. And now I just set that to the text. So what does that look like? Let's go in the world here, and that looks like this. Oh, but yeah, I forget how loud that is. But yes, so that is our heart rate integration with Unreal. That is how it all works. The next objectives for me will 100% be implementing the AI. AI is the second biggest thing that I have to learn, although it's going to be much easier than this. Here's hoping. I'm going to do research into how Maze and Chase AI work and how to make them fully, how to make them feel good with the gameplay, really up that game feel. And by the end of this semester, I should have a working prototype of hopefully the maze. Have a grey boxed maze, have an AI which chases you, which, is based on the heart rate, and have the simple functionality of running about and the player controls. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is Devlog 1, signing off.